As a small content creator myself, I want an affordable ultra-wide monitor that lets me open multiple tabs at once when I'm doing research and also lets me have a wide view of my timeline during video editing. In this video, I'm going to share with you why I think this $270 Xiaomi monitor is excellent if you are just starting out and you want the best all-rounder monitor that is cheap and also fits your needs. We're going to cover things like screen resolution, color accuracy, ports, monitor stands, and many other features in this video. I paid for this monitor with my own money, so what you're hearing is my true opinion. With that out of the way, let's get into the review. In terms of screen size and screen resolution, this monitor has a 34-inch display and an aspect ratio of 21:9. It has a wide Quad HD screen resolution measuring 3440 pixels by 1440 pixels. The relatively high pixel density keeps the words sharp despite having a longer width, and I can comfortably open 3 windows at once without having any problems reading on each of them. It is also great for video editing since it gives you a really wide view of your timeline, while I use my M1 MacBook Air as a secondary display for video playback. A dual screen setup is technically an option as well, but because I'm using a base model MacBook Air, I'm limited to a single monitor unless I use a display link. I didn't really want to go through the trouble of setting all that up, so I still think that an ultra-wide monitor is a better option. And I think that 34 inches is the sweet spot because I've used a 49-inch display before in the past, and I found it to be too wide. I would have to rotate my head a fair bit to read the text at the corners, and I realized that with more screen space, there's a tendency to open too many tabs, and they've just become really distracting after a while. So I think 34 inches is the Goldilocks zone for monitors, especially when it comes to content creation. Now let's talk about colors. This display uses a VA panel, which means that colors will not be as vivid as OLED panels, and it will not be as color accurate as IPS panels. The use of VA panels is not really surprising here, since this is a budget monitor after all. As for color depth, this monitor is able to produce 16.7 million colors, which is equivalent to 8 bits of color depth. With regards to color range, this monitor supports 100% sRGB and also 95% DCI-P3 color gamuts. The delta E value advertised on the website is less than 2, but based on the factory calibration results that I got on my unit, it is 1.01 for sRGB color gamut and 0.9 for DCI-P3 color gamut. I want to add that it's really nice for Xiaomi to calibrate each monitor and show the calibration results to us, because this is typically something that only some brands provide with their higher end monitors. As for contrast, this monitor has a contrast ratio of 4000 to 1, while the blacks on the screen are sufficiently dark, but it is not quite as dark as on OLED displays. But of course, OLED displays are also significantly more expensive. Now, I know that the VA panels, the 8-bit colors, and also the lack of wider color gamuts may be a no-go for some content creators. But personally, I prefer to spend my time on researching, writing better scripts, and taking better B-rolls, rather than focusing too much on colors. I think the chase for super accurate colors is a costly pursuit, and as a small content creator myself, I'm happy to compromise on the color accuracy and color gamut for a more affordable price. This might be an unpopular opinion, I'm not really sure what's your take on it, but as long as the general look of my videos is decent enough, I'm satisfied with it. Maybe my opinion will change in the future, but with only about 500 subscribers right now, I think I'm happy with the colors on this budget monitor at the moment. Relative to the other curved monitors out there, the curvature of this monitor is nowhere near aggressive. The 1500R curvature helps to ensure that every part of the screen is equidistant to my eyes, so that the viewing angle issue associated with VA displays will not be as apparent. When it comes to ports, there are 2 DisplayPort 1.4 and 2 HDMI 2.0 ports at the back of the monitor. It also has an audio output jack, which can be used for connecting your wired headphones to the monitor for audio monitoring. However, it is quite disappointing that there are no USB-C or USB-A ports at all, since most monitors these days will at least come with 1 or 2 USB ports. This means that you should have an additional dongle or dock ready if you're connecting your laptop to this monitor and your laptop just happens to not have sufficient ports. As for the refresh rate, this monitor can go up to 180Hz, but you will need to connect via the display port and not the HDMI port. Xiaomi did include a DisplayPort cable in the box, and it does support 180Hz refresh rate. If you use the HDMI port instead, the maximum refresh rate will be 100Hz. The monitor stand is easy to assemble. It only requires 4 screws to attach to the base plate of the shaft, and the shaft is connected to the monitor using a catch mechanism. The monitor stand allows 21 degrees of left and right swivel respectively, and 5 degrees of forward and backward tilting respectively. The height is pretty easy to adjust as well, and I could lower and raise the monitor with just 2 fingers. Unfortunately, the stand does not allow rotation from horizontal to vertical because the maximum adjustable height on the stand is not enough to accommodate the width of this monitor when it's oriented vertically. There's not much cable management as there is only a cutout at the shaft of the monitor stand to allow cables to run through to the back. You will be able to see the cables from the front unless you lower the height of the monitor significantly to cover it up. I also used the Velcro strap to hide the cables behind the shaft as they exit through the opening. If you don't like the sturdiness or the flexibility of the original stand, you can use a third-party monitor arm since it is compatible with 75 by 75 meters VISA mounts. When it comes to controlling the menu, there is a joystick at the back of the monitor and it is very intuitive to use. Pushing it to the right gives you access to the menu, while pressing left gives you access to the port input options. Pressing up or down gives you quick access to the brightness level, and holding it down will increase or decrease the brightness. In the menu system, you get 2 preset modes, one for gaming and one for general use. You get to adjust settings like contrast level, color space, sharpness, response time, HDR and AMD FreeSync, and there is also low blue light mode for nighttime use. Overall, I think that this monitor is more like an all-rounder in the sense that it doesn't really stand out in any specific area, but it is able to perform adequately well for many of the productivity and video editing tasks that a small content creator needs. It offers a good balance between affordability, display features, and also the screen real estate, and that is why I would highly recommend this monitor to smaller content creators with a limited budget. So do let me know in the comment section below whether you think this monitor might be something that suits your needs. And I guess that's all for this video. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye bye.